So last time I showed you how to boot a Hyper-V virtual machine into Pixie so that you could install, just like you would on a physical machine, you could install your latest and greatest reference image, your golden image. Of course, there's a number of ways you could do that, but if you've got a lot of time invested in your golden images, it's worth doing it that way rather than building it from scratch again. So I've done it, and here's the Pro one running. And what I wanted to show you was the device manager here, because things like network adapters are obviously Hyper-V network adapters, and when that gets installed on a physical machine, that's going to have to be replaced by an Ethernet card, from Broadcom, Intel, somebody like that. Probably also the disk, show you that. Same kind of thing. So to do this, the first step is to convert Samba to make that share that we created before in previous part writeable. And we do that, it's very simple. Obviously you have to do that on the Linux box. I'm not going to switch over to the Linux box. It's a waste of time really, but update the Samba configuration and add write list user1. So we're going to log in with user1, and the create mask is 755. That's user1 read, write and execute. The group that they belong to, user1, is just read and write, no delete. Got that wrong. 5 is read and execute, no write. And everyone, that's the last one, is the same. The other thing we're going to do is create a Samba user, and just to make sure I ran ID to show what user I'm actually using. It's user1, told you. So we're going to do Samba password for user1, and I'm going to use a blank password. The reason is, well, when it comes to security, putting passwords in scripts isn't a very good idea. This isn't a system that's on the internet. It's in a very closed loop, which is the sort of LAN in the workshop. It's not in the general office area, so it's all in all, it's probably better just to have a blank one. Samba doesn't read its configuration file, so you have to restart it, and it's ready to go. Obviously testing it would be just to make sure that you can, from say a Windows box, which is this one, that you can mount that share and create a file in it. The next step is to quiesce the system here by turning off that, so we'll shut that down. But the other thing is we're going to generate a huge file, and the last thing we want to do is have real-time protection watching it as we create it, as we write it. That's going to slow the system down dramatically. Windows will keep turning this on again, so every time you need to check that that's off. So let's go back to here. So that's quiescent, and now we can run the capture script. Now this is a DOS script. It's going to be in the comments too, so you don't have to look at it too carefully. But what it's going to do is mount the virtual machine's virtual disk into a directory called mount there, and once it's done that, it's going to capture from that directory there. It's going to capture install.wim. It's going to give it proper name and description. If you don't, you really must give it a name and description so that it appears when you do the setup. Otherwise the setup might fail, saying can't find the appropriate index version or something. Not sure of the actual error message there, but you've got to do that. And once having done that, you unmount it. Now that's going to do Pro, and then we append, we append core onto the end of that. If you don't have any core machines, you don't have to bother doing this. But basically it just mounts the other VM, and then instead of capture it does an append. Previously we did capture. When it's finished it unmounts, and then it uses our share which we've just created. Notice it's got user and no password. So it's going to mount that share, and this is going to determine which version of the directory it's going to write the install.wim in. So there are two. There's the live one and the test one, or production and development. We're going to update the development one so that any installs that are ongoing don't get interfered with. It also allows you to test the new one just to make sure it works before you deploy it, put it into production. So that selects which directory it's going to go into. Tells you there, you're sure you want to do that, and then it uses robocopy to copy it over. Now that install.wim is typically a huge file, sort of 40-50 gigs in our case for one of our images. So that's going to take a while. So we'll run that, and I'll show you what happens. Open a command prompt, running as administrator, and cd to wherever you've stored your files, and run capture. With the family of systems you want to use. Now in our case we're going to capture the TT ones. So it's going to look in that directory there. It's going to mount it, and you have to put in index.1. It's all in the script, which is going to be available in the comments. This does take a while, so I'm just going to pause while this all happens and come back when it's finished. So this is always a good sign. It's now saving the image. Now that took on my system about 3 to 4 minutes. Obviously the mileage might vary. If you've got a more powerful system, it could be quicker, but it also depends massively on the size of the file. What I didn't show you, and it's going to be in the comments, is the where is it? The configuration file, capture.ini. Capture.ini is an exclusion list, and typically I've to speed things up here, I've excluded some of these directories which are pretty big. Okay, so that's it finished. The last thing it did was the file copy using robocopy. Here's where the append took place. Append. So it appended the install file with the contents of mount, which was okay. So it mounted it. Now all that remains is to test it. So I'm going to switch over to a test machine now and install this latest WIM file on it. So I booted this test machine, and it's ready to go. So now in here there's test install, which I'll add to the comments, and that's going to load from the same place that we just wrote the file, win10x64tt2. So are we sure? Yes. It's probably far too many of these are you sure things. And you may well want to take them out. So this is setup starting. We'll just see it go. Okay. Don't have a product key yet. It'll probably find it when it does the installation in the CMOS. And this gives you the option of Pro or Core. So that's the first one that we captured, and that's the one that we appended. I'm going to go for Pro, and there's the usual thing about accepting the terms and conditions. Do that, do this. Obviously I've been installing before on this machine, nothing on it. and that's it away. Okay, I'll come back when it's done. Okay, so this is the new image just starting up, getting the devices ready. And now what I'm going to do is show you Device Manager after the thing has started. So I'll just let it finish off. Okay, here it is. I'll just show you Device Manager quickly. Main thing is the network adapter. If you remember, it was a Hyper-V one. Now it's all been swapped for the physical device. Okay, so next time I'm going to show you how to clean up or finish off the install. Do that with this PowerShell script here, basically to tidy it up and get it ready for release. Okay, bye.